Hello there. When I recently sat down to seriously read and reflect on Psalm 86, which is where we've reached in our journey through the Psalms, more than once I thought to myself, this sounds very familiar. And the truth is that in some way, Psalm 86 is something of a pastiche, or as one commentator puts it, a mosaic of excerpts and quotes from other Psalms. Psalm 86 is a Davidic psalm. In fact, it's the only psalm of David in this book 3 of the book of Psalms. And in it he draws on and from about 8 of his psalms that have appeared previously in the Psalter, especially Psalms 25 to 28 and Psalms 54 to 57. And it's interesting and informative to go back and read those psalms and see the links and the parallels. This psalm is like many others of David's. It's a lament in which he cries to God for protection against his enemies, although he doesn't refer to them specifically until verse 14. But he also strongly expresses his confidence in God. Because of the familiarity with others of his psalms, I want to approach this one in a slightly different way. And I want to highlight 3 distinctive features of Psalm 86, which I find hugely instructive. First, I want you to notice the requests that David makes. In fact, in just 17 verses, he makes no less than 15 requests and prayers to God. Now, rather than list them all for you, you can read them for yourself, I've summarized them under 5 groupings. He prays, listen to me and answer me. He prays, save me. He prays, teach me. He prays, be gracious to me, or have mercy on me, depending on which translation you're using. And he prays, gladden my heart. So those are his prayers. Secondly, I want you to notice the reasons for the requests that he makes. And there are 2 sorts of reasons. There's the reasons for his own situation, and there's the reasons about God himself. With regard to himself, I love the way he describes himself in several ways. And again, I've summarized these under 2 groupings. He describes himself as your trusting servant, and he describes himself as being poor and needy. And then he describes God. He gives reasons about God that gives him confidence to come to him with all these requests. Notice the convictions. Let me list them for you. He says that God is good, God is forgiving, God is great, God does wondrous things, God is merciful and gracious, God is slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love and faithfulness. He alone is God, and he is the creator and the owner of all people. All of which you could sum up as, you alone are God, and you are a God of grace and mercy. Friends, this seems to be a really wonderful and encouraging model of prayer. We bring our petitions and our requests to God and our laments, and we list them, however many they may be. And nothing is too small and nothing is too unimportant. We confess our dependence on him because of our frailty and need. We remind God that we are but dust because that's the way he made us. We cast ourselves on him. And we acknowledge that he is by nature and by practice a God of mercy and grace, who delights in showing compassion and kindness to those like us who are in a place of need. Does that sound like you? Does that sound like your God? I need to tell you, it certainly sounds like me, and it certainly sounds like my God. So why don't I pray as often as I could, or as often as I should, or in the way that I should? Let's take encouragement and heart from David. So until next time, when God willing, we'll look at Psalm 87. The Lord bless you and the Lord keep you.